Hey guys, AFK Love here. As some of you may know, I have played quite a few horror games from itch.io. Over the past few months, I've noticed that many recently released horror games use the same art style. I've talked about this before in the third episode of my series, Playing Horror Games Till I Don't Get Scared. I thought it would be cool to make a video about this and try to explore why this style is so popular. So, in this video, which is episode 13, I'll be going over 5 short horror games from itch.io. So yeah, let's begin. Our first game is called Ret. I think that's how you pronounce it. In this game, you play as a character named Cameroon who agrees to participate in a 5-day long ritual. Upon loading up the game, you can see some text on the screen. And no, I'm not talking about the disclaimer. What I am actually talking about is this. Candles, look out for it. Obey. Go to bed. Then, the game starts. Day 1. Brainwash. You wake up in a bedroom of sorts. Just your typical bedroom, nothing too out of the ordinary. Anyways, you walk out of your bedroom and explore the rest of the house. On walking down a corridor, you can hear strange noises. But that's not all there is. In the living room, you find 2 people sitting near a pentagram. These people seem to be wearing the heads of animals, already kind of creepy. To start the ritual, you pick up this candle stand and place it on the pentagram. I also managed to knock it over, but we're just gonna ignore that. Anyway, you head to bed after that ritual. Day 2. Offering. You wake up, same as before, ready to perform another ritual. This time, you are allowed to enter another room. In this new room, you can pick up what seems to be a bucket full of bones. You bring this bucket back to that creepy living room and place it on a rather suspicious looking table. This time you'll notice that the people are now looking at you, and they can also rotate their heads a whole 360 degrees. That's impressive. With nothing left to do, you go to bed again. Day 3. Grinding. Today you unlock another room. There you find this guy who's smiling? I guess? Anyways, he's standing near a table on which there seems to be some sort of carcass. You pick it up and put it on this machine, which leaves you with the pot. Where did the pot come from? I have no idea. You do need it to complete today's ritual, so whatever. Carrying the pot, you go to the living room to meet with the 2 strange fellows and place it on that extremely sus table. And yes, those guys are still observing you. As usual, you go to bed. Day 4. They are inside. On day 4, you find a weird statue thing in the living room. I'm not too sure what it is exactly. Oh, and also this thing has no collision, so you can just walk through it. This time, those people were kind enough to reserve a seat just for you. You sit on the chair and well, this happens. Then the credits roll. And that's the game. Now, I'll give you my honest opinion. Though there weren't any jump scares apart from the one near the end, the game was really spooky. I really liked the eerie atmosphere of this game. It made me feel like I was being watched, even on the first day when those people weren't looking at me yet. And as for the retro style of this game, I think it fits in pretty well with the game's atmosphere. Like, the game's color palette is literally just red, and in my opinion, gives a very dangerous feeling, if that makes sense. Now, it's time for our second game. On loading up the game, this cutscene plays. So, based on the cutscene, we can see that the character we play as has pulled up to a cemetery to pay respects to their neighbor. Then someone in their car honks their horn, signaling the protagonist to come over to the car. The cemetery itself does seem kinda spooky, especially due to the thick, gray fog, and for some reason, the name of the protagonist's neighbor is the only name here to be seen, but whatever. Moving on, we enter the car and we can see the protagonist's friend, Johnny. We ask Johnny where we're going, and Johnny explains that we're going to an old farmhouse because we have some work to do there. Then the story gets a little dark.
Don't judge me for this. Remember those two guys? Yeah, those two. They've been visiting me in my dreams. I might be cursed. We need to dig them up and burn them. You heard me. I read it in some book a few days ago. It's the only way. We've got to help. Just ask the guy for permission to dig on his property. Have my word.
So it seems that the protagonist and his friend have run over and killed two people, and those two guys have been visiting Johnny in his dreams, leading him to believe that he may have become cursed. According to him, the proper thing to be done is to dig them up and burn them. He knows this because of some book he read. What kind of book were you reading, man? So, like a true homie, we decided to help him out. We pull up to the farmhouse and decide to have a look around. Behind the house, we can see that there's a farmer there. We ask the farmer for permission to dig on his property. The farmer then asks us who we are, to which we say we work for the government. What a terrible lie! After some back and forth arguments, we finally convince him to let us dig on his property, but he does ask us for a favor in return, to move 2 bags to the front of his house. So, as a self-proclaimed good person, we agree to do so. But funnily enough, the game doesn't force us to do it. You can even leave early after taking care of just 1 bag, and it doesn't change anything story-wise. So, after leaving the place, we stop before an old checkpost that seems to be broken. We find 3 cogs lying around for whatever reason and use them to fix it. After driving off, another cutscene plays, in which we ask Johnny if he remembers where we buried the bodies. He replies saying that he's sure where they are and says he'll park at the crossroads as well. He tells us where one of the graves is and says that he'll dig up the second one. The graves are also said to be unmarked. So, after parking the car, we walk over to one of the graves and dig out the body. Then, we make our way back to the car, but not before getting jump scared by a deer. That actually startled me pretty good. Anyways, we slowly walk back over to the car and put the body in the trunk. I should probably also say that all of the stuff I'm talking about is in a random indie horror game I found. Okay, YouTube? Please don't age restrict this video. But there's a nasty surprise waiting for us in the car. Johnny's dead. No! Johnny! Who did this to you, man? Then the screen cuts to black. We wake up at some creepy place. There's a note on the wall. I failed. You don't have to. Run away. Yup, we are definitely cooked. We bust down a very fragile door and enter another room. This room has a locked door with a yellow lock and a red lock. It actually took me longer than I'd like to admit to find the keys to one of these. And when I finally found it, someone spawned right behind me, which managed to startle me a little bit, although I was expecting something. Also, this guy seems to be the farmer we spoke to earlier. Did not see that coming. I actually died to him a few times, but I locked in and managed to get past him and unlock the door. And
Alright, man.
the credits rolled. Now, I'll give you my honest opinion. What I would love to talk about first is that the ending to this game was pretty sick. The twist at the end was just insane. I did not expect Johnny and the farmer to turn against us. Like, bro, excuse me? I thought I saw Johnny dead, but no, he's fine apparently. As for how this game's story goes, I think it's pretty solid. I don't really have any complaints, and as for the retro style of this game, the thick grey fog reminds me of the first Silent Hill game. I haven't played any of those myself, but I have seen a few videos on it. I also really like this game's scenery, and it seems to me that a lot of effort was put into making it. And well, it's time for our third game. Upon loading up the game, you can see some text which talks about something bad happening on a Friday night in this place called Thunderhead. It begins with the appearance of a strange hill at the edge of the cemetery, and we, the protagonist, was apparently the first to speak of what happened. We start off at a gas station and are given instructions on what to do. to read the notice containing the order from inside a box and deliver the goods there accordingly. So that's exactly what we do. There's also a notice nearby from Father Dakota and Sheriff Phelps that talks about a curfew. It tells the reader to 1. Place at least 3 crosses around every house. 2. Salt every doorstep and window ledge. 3. Buy holy water and crosses. 4. Take all things inside before sundown. 5. Not go outside past nightfall, cause if you do, you get shot. 6. Attend mandatory church services. 7. And report all strange goings on. After that, we drive to Thunderhead to deliver the goods. Our van breaks down on the way, but we slap the hood with a wrench and that seems to fix everything. At Thunderhead, we have to deliver goods to 8 houses. At each house, we read the order from the notice inside a box and put the goods in. Before long, we're finished and we move on. We head over to the church and apparently there's a witch hunt. I thought people stopped doing that stuff. Oh well, we still gotta deliver the goods, so whatever. We go to the back of the church to read the order, but this time, it's different. It's a letter. Apparently, a curse has taken hold of Thunderhead. This notice talks about the evil doings of the witch, taking Miss Beverly's cat, filling the air with unholy sounds each night, and staining the earth with her foul symbols. The residents of Thunderhead try to fight back, but even then, they lost another life. The writer then thanks everyone who prayed and kept watch throughout the night, and also to Sheriff Phelps for standing by his side with a shotgun in his hand and the scripture in his heart. They tried their very best, but to no avail. Still, there is hope. Us. What we have to do this time is to find a recording left at the cemetery, if it still remains, and take it to the Archbishop who didn't believe in what the writer was saying. Maybe, just maybe, this recording may change his mind. Who wrote this letter? Father Dakota. We make our way to the cemetery, and very soon we find the recording. But then, escape. Holy, what the heck? A UFO? This ain't a witch, bro. These are aliens. Y'all are delusional, man. This ain't a witch. This is a freaking UFO, man. It wasn't a witch. It was a freaking UFO. We quickly sprint to our van and try to drive off, but it breaks down. I died from spending too much time looking at the UFO, but managed to drive away in my second attempt. And you might be wondering what was in that recording. Well, bro, what? Then the credits roll. And yeah, that's the game. Now I'll give you my honest opinion. First of all, I would like to talk about the ending. It was super cool. Like, I was expecting a witch, not a damn UFO. And I must say, when I read that letter, I thought a witch was gonna chase me around the cemetery. But instead, it's a UFO. That's so cool. Though I must say, this game scared me the least out of the ones in this video. But I really did like its environment. It did a really good job making the town of Thunderhead look desolate. The retro style is pretty good, but I had trouble reading the curfew notice, and that's pretty much my only critique. Now, it's time for our fourth game. Upon loading up the game, you see that it's day 1. You find yourself in some sort of shack. The shack also has mushrooms growing on it, kinda disgusting. You are instructed to grab your soup bowl. After that, you gotta fill the bowl up with some soup. Then, you sit down to enjoy your delicious soup. The soup you're having tonight is vegetable soup, which smells sour with a broth thick like honey. You also don't know how old it is, but you still drink it. After that, you go to bed. On day 2, you have some soup again. This time, you've made yourself hamburger soup. Okay, you're pretty stoked about having this meal. Also, your head hurts. On day 3, you do the exact same thing. This is getting repetitive. This time, you're having lentil soup, and if you're wondering what that is, I have no idea. Anyways, your head still hurts and you don't feel so good. Apparently, you went outside, but almost got lost in the forest. You are also running out of ingredients. On day 4, you can hear a rat making some noise. This time, you're having navy bean soup. You don't like beans, but you still gotta eat. You remark that you're starting to hear things, and there might even be a big rat living in your walls, rent free. You drink the soup as usual and go to bed. You've finally run out of ingredients. Good thing you've managed to find a can of alphabet soup. You like it since it reminds you of better times. You can also still hear the rats. On day 6, you gotta find something to put in your soup. Remember those mushrooms on your wall? Well, you use that as an ingredient. You drink the soup and well, this happens. What the hell did I just play? Now, I'll give you my honest opinion. This game was just weird. Like, the ending was just absolutely strange. As for the retro style, I think it isn't too bad. There's nothing more I can really say, so let's just move. Now, it's time for our last game. The game begins with some text on the screen which says that some people have escaped into a small shop they thought was safe. This is followed by a cutscene in which 3 men can be seen inside a shop. Red shirt is John, yellow shirt is Mike, and black shirt is Jay. Anyways, John talks about how they barely managed to escape from something and that the city is in total chaos. Mike asks him what they should do, and he replies that they should try to leave the place as soon as possible. Then you are given control of John. As you can see, the game has an isometric perspective. I had to fumble around for a little while since I wasn't experienced with the controls. Anyway, we go to this area and pick up a rare exit key. On returning, we see that our friends have been killed by some zombies. Running past the zombies, we use the rare exit key to open this door. We swear to avenge our friends before moving on. Now, I wasn't too sure what exactly this guy was doing, but John says he was mauled to death. He does have a gun in his hand, so we take it and shoot open a locked door. Now, as you can see, something's not right. I chose to ignore this warning as I had seen it in screenshots of the game. We go to another room, which happens to be a washroom. There, we can find yeah. This game has a strange sense of humor. The thing is guarding a screwdriver, and when we try to get close, it bites us. But we somehow manage to get the screwdriver, and then we shoot that abomination to death for good. Moving on, we entered this room with a bunch of zombies. I struggled a lot with killing them due to my lack of experience with the game's controls. I struggled so much they had me backed up into a corner. I thought I was gonna die here, but I didn't. Turns out, you can't die in this game. Anyways, that room had a security room key, which we use, and the screwdriver comes in handy to open a box containing a garage room key. Then we are attacked by zombies that kinda look like us. We kill those things and move on. But it seems like the zombies are here again. I ran past these zombies as I didn't want to deal with them again and entered the garage room. There we find a passive zombie. We shoot it and it doesn't react. Then we enter another room with even more passive zombies. This is apparently Matt's fault. We walk past them but are attacked by many non-passive zombies in another room. I thought we would die here, but no, we survived. Just barely. We can still shoot, funnily enough. We wriggle our way to another room, and by then we seem to have recovered, somehow. Anyways, we pick up a gas can and use it to fuel the car and drive it, though in an unconventional way. Again, Matt's fault. The game just becomes a run over zombies simulator. I also like the background music that plays here. It's really good. After a little while, we burst through a door and end up in another room. The room does not have the door we opened to get here. This is Matt's fault, of course. Moving on, we walk through a corridor and get to this creepy place full of zombies and tanks, and after walking a bit, the zombies escape from their tanks. But since they can't jump, they fall to their deaths. No joke, this part actually startled me a bit, even though I was expecting them to come attack me in some way. But now, we're in the final room and come face to face with the man who started all this madness. And well, that's it. Now, I'll give you my honest opinion. This game was super funny, and it's obvious that it wasn't trying to scare the player. Out of all the games in this video, this one might be my favorite. As for the retro style, I think it does a good job at mimicking early 90s horror games like Silent Hill or Resident Evil, and that's pretty much all I can say. Hey there, if you're listening to this, it means that you've been watching till the end, or you've skipped to this point. Either way, thanks for being here. That means a lot to me. Now, before I end this video for real, I would like to talk about the games I mentioned in this video. As mentioned earlier, all these games have a retro art style, specifically a PSX art style. Until now, all I've done is talk about how the game utilizes its art style. But now it's time to consider why. Why do good horror games like Mouthwashing or Squirrel Stapler use this style? Well, here's what I think is the answer. Uncanniness. The games I've shown try to replicate the type of style most 3D games had back in the day. Due to the hardware limitations of the time, the 3D models of the things in the game had fewer polygons. This made the models look somewhat unrealistic but still recognizable enough for the player to distinguish what the model is supposed to represent. But still, the models of, for instance, humans look so uncanny. The way the texture, which is supposed to represent the face, wraps around the model looks, in my somewhat humble opinion, very unsettling. Another reason could also be nostalgia, though I'm not too sure about that. After all, I was born long after we got better tech. I'm not saying that the models and the textures are bad or anything. It's just that I think they feel sort of uncanny. Of course, this is just my opinion and it could be something else entirely. Let me know in the comments what you think is the reason why this art style is so popular among modern indie horror games. Well, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching. Like and subscribe for more content like this. Have a good rest of your day and goodbye.